Hi everyone, Gil Fried here, the Crowd Management Doctor, and we're looking at stories from April 2025. And it was a very busy month, so let's see what's out there. Daytona Municipal Stadium putting an end to growing bat infestation. Yes, just what you want to hear. You go to work and there's a bat infestation. Operators of Daytona Beach Municipal Stadium are hoping to put an end to a growing bat problem as the facility is now home to thousands of the creatures. Thousands, not one or two. God help us all. The bats have been roosting in cracks and crevices underneath the stadium's concrete bleacher at the 10,000 plus seat stadium. The stadium hired ProQuest Pest Control to take care of the problem. The pest control specialists will seal off openings in the stands on the visitor side of the stadium and also put up netting underneath the bleachers that will allow the bats to fly out but not let them roost. But, if they can keep them out and let them fly out and not come back in, that's going to be great. The process will take between 5 to 7 days. Crews also sealed off holes that don't have any bats yet to keep them from settling in those areas. City officials said the effort did not harm the bats, which are effective at pollinating plants and eating large amounts of insects and allowing them to resettle someplace else. Where? I don't know. That's a different story. The city has battled the bat problem at Municipal Stadium for years, and officials said they need to be removed because they carry many diseases and their droppings emit a foul odor and can carry harmful pathogens. Just one more concern to be worried about, so if you see bats in your venue, please contact your supervisors immediately. Belgium stadium evacuated after fans find smoke bombs and flares under seats. A Belgian stadium, Stade du Pas de Charleroi, I tried the best I could with pronouncing that, was evacuated during an April soccer match between Sporting Charleroi and Standard Liège after remote-controlled flares and smoke bombs were found under the seats. The devices were found under seats in the away team's supporter section of the 15,000-seat stadium. A fan who thought his seat wasn't secured properly discovered a total of 14 devices. Stadium officials called in special teams including bomb disposal units and explosive detection dogs to evaluate the scene, and hopefully they could find other issues or prevent any other issues. These teams succeeded in neutralizing the flares and smoke bombs. Once the scene was stabilized, the match continued as scheduled. First responders confirmed that had the pyrotechnics been set off, they would have caused serious burns and injuries to the fans seated in that section. Sporting Charleroi released a statement saying, Sporting Charleroi deplores and condemns in the strongest possible terms the unacceptable behavior of certain individuals who attempted to booby-trap seats in the away stands using smoke bombs designed to be triggered remotely. Such acts are completely unacceptable and have absolutely no place in our stadium. They also run counter to the values defended by Sporting Charleroi. That's just something you have to be aware of. Know your surroundings. If you see something, say something. In Belgium, those responsible for this crime face a sentence of attempted arson of a building in which people were present. That crime carries a prison sentence of 1 to 15 years. Hopefully they catch them and they punish them. Rescue mission at French Stadium for parachutists caught on roof. This one where you have to see the video, and luckily we have the video that we can put with it. But what began as a celebratory kickoff of a rugby game in France turned into a life-saving rescue mission by firefighters. A parachutist at France's Stadium de Toulouse was soaring down onto the field during the pregame festivals when the parachute became caught on the stadium's roof, leaving the man dangling from the rafters. He dangled 50 feet above the ground for 40 minutes until local fire department personnel came to his rescue. Imagine that. That's not the way you want to start a game. Videos shared online by fans showed the man hanging above their heads in the stands. One moment he is gliding down to the field, then he swings too close to the roof and becomes stuck there. Fans also shared videos of the rescue by firefighters as they raised an extended ladder through the stands to the roof and retrieved the parachutist. The parachutist was a French soldier, and he did not sustain any injuries from the accident. Thank God. But you have incidents before and after, and at all times during events and after events. You just always have to be wary of what might happen. Multi-sports high school athlete stabbed to death at Frisco, Texas track meet. A high school track athlete died tragically at a track meet after he was stabbed by a fellow student. Police were called to the stadium in Frisco, Texas around 10 in the morning, responding to reports of an altercation between two students. The victim, 17-year-old Austin Metcalf, was a junior at Memorial High School who competed in track and football. First responders attempted life-saving measures, but he was pronounced dead as a result of his injuries. The assailant, also a 17-year-old, was arrested on Wednesday afternoon, so shortly thereafter. He is facing charges of murder and, according to the Dallas Morning News, has no set bail. In Texas, murder is a first-degree felony punishable with life in prison or confinement for 5 to 99 years. This is just one of those sad instances where if you have metal detectors that might have prevented this. The track meet was a busy scene as 8 schools were competing in the District 11 5A meet when the incident occurred. Metcalf's father told NBC News his son was killed when another student armed with a knife got upset after being told he was in the wrong spot. Despite a lack of confirmation from police, Metcalf's father is insistent. He brought a knife to a track meet and he murdered my son by stabbing him in the heart. The guy was in the wrong place and they asked him to move, and he bowed up. This is murder. This helps show the importance of screening all fans as well as participants in such events. When you have hundreds of people that might be on the infield and you don't know what is in their bags or things like that, things like this could happen. Always be vigilant. At least 124 people dead and 155 injured in Dominican Republic nightclub roof collapse. This is such a sad story. At least 124 people are known to have died when the roof of a Dominican Republic nightclub collapsed, and 155 transfers were taken to local hospitals, officials said after the incident. The cause of the massive collapse at the Jet Set nightclub remained unclear. Athletes, government officials, and fans were at the club to see popular merengue singer Ruby Perez. The Associated Press reported that dust from the ceiling started falling into people's drinks minutes before the roof came down. Among the victims in the deadly collapse were 2 former Major League Baseball players, Octavio Dotel and Tony Enrique Blanco Cabrera, as well as Nelcy Cruz, governor of the Monterrey province. Cruz called President Luis Abinader while trapped to tell him about the disaster, according to the Associated Press. A fan was hospitalized after a fall from right field stands at PNC Park during a Pirates game. A fan fell from the right field stands onto the field at PNC Park as the Pirates hosted the Chicago Cubs. The Pirates issued the following statement after the game. Tonight, during the 7th inning of the game at PNC Park, an adult male fell from the right field bleachers onto the field of play. Pittsburgh EMS, as well as the Pirates and the club's athletic training team and other PNC Park personnel, reacted and responded immediately and administered care. He was transported to Allegheny General Hospital. No further information is available at this time. Our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family. That was the quote from the team. Pittsburgh Public Safety posted from X, formerly Twitter, the next morning that the incident was being treated as accidental in nature and that the fan is still in critical condition. Video appears to show Mark Wood, who is the guy who got injured, rise from a seated position in the first row of the right field stand following a double by Andrew McCutchen. He immediately toppled over the railing. Play stopped for approximately 10 minutes with players and fans watching as the fan was tended to and eventually transported off the field. It was a scary sight. The right field wall at PNC Park is 21 feet tall in honor of Roberto Clemente, who wore uniform number 21. According to the PNC Park architect of record, the railing above the Clemente wall measures 36 inches, exceeding the current code requirement of 26 inches. A line of sight exemption, and this is something that I am against, as it is an old and antiquated building code from 1919 or 1929, something like that, pretty old. The center of gravity for an average fan is closer to 40 plus inches, so the railing is low and the building code needs to be changed. It needs to change that to protect people because it was initially adopted for people that were using dinner theater and sitting down and eating and enjoying. They didn't want to be able to sit and watch. Well, now people are dancing, standing up, and all sorts of different things. Continuation of the above story, though. As reported by news source, 21-year-old Ethan Kirkwood now faces criminal charges for allegedly providing the alcohol. Police reviewed receipts and video footage from PNC Park that showed Kirkwood purchased two 24-ounce cans of Miller Lite shortly before 7 p.m. the night of the game, according to the complaint. He is then seen on video walking away from the bar area with Mark Wood and two women, with both men holding a can, according to the complaint. Over an hour later, Kirkwood is seen walking to the bar area and then walking to the seating area of the ballpark holding two cans of alcohol, according to the complaint. After Mark Wood fell from the bleachers, Kirkwood is then seen handing a can to a female who throws it in the trash and jumping over a rail and then jumping onto the field to help his friend. The complaint states what appears to be solid evidence. In interviews with police following the incident, Mark Wood's girlfriend said the 20-year-old drank 2 beers inside the park, and Kirkwood allegedly admitted to purchasing the alcohol, according to the complaint. He has been charged with 2 counts of selling or furnishing alcohol to a minor. Court records show a preliminary hearing in the case has been scheduled for June 23rd, which is almost right when I'm filming this right now. In the immediate aftermath of the fall, a fan seated 5 rows behind Mark Wood claimed the 20-year-old was drunk when the incident occurred in the game's 7th inning. During the previous inning, Mark Wood reportedly ripped his shirt off and poured beer all over himself. That's what the witness said. It's a sad case, but let's see what happens. When McCutcheon doubled, Mark Wood jumped up so quickly while being drunk, he literally propelled himself off the ledge, according to what this witness said, who was behind him. He didn't do it on purpose, and no one pushed him. Amy Thompson, who was sitting next to Mark Wood at the game, told a news station, as he jumped out of his seat to celebrate, it appeared that he had his hands on the fence in front of him. It was railing, actually, not a fence, which I had done several times during the game as well. I think the momentum from him jumping up in his seat and the way he grabbed the rail just seemed like he catapulted himself over the railing. And that's a quote from this other fan. So you got to be careful with railing. If you're working by railing, warn people that they're by the railing. And I think it's in that hopefully is going to be changed as we see more and more of these kind of incidents. I've handled several of these cases over the years. The following is a summary of a recent article in Athletic Business. How a better understanding of crowd dynamics has helped keep stadiums safer. On May 29, 1985, what should have been an exciting European Cup final between Liverpool and Juventus at Belgium's Heysel Stadium instead became one of soccer's darkest days. An hour before kickoff, Liverpool supporters reached a thin police cordon and charged towards Juventus fans. As panic spread, people were crushed against a concrete retaining wall that eventually collapsed. The tragedy claimed 39 lives and injured over 600 spectators. 14 Liverpool fans were found guilty of manslaughter and sentenced to 6 years in prison. An investigation into the Heysel disaster revealed multiple crowd management failures, including inadequate stadium design, crumbling infrastructure, insufficient security personnel, poor crowd segregation, and the absence of comprehensive emergency response protocols. This catastrophic event led to a 5-year ban on English clubs from European competition and eventually sparked the modernization of stadium safety standards across Europe. 4 years after Heysel, in April 1989, another tragedy reinforced the importance of proper crowd management when 96 Liverpool fans were crushed at Hillsborough Stadium during an FA Cup semi-final. The disaster resulted from police mismanagement of crowd flow, with too many supporters directed into an already overcrowded standing-only pens. These tragedies stand as stark reminders that understanding crowd dynamics isn't merely academic. It's a matter of life and death in sporting venues. Nearly 4 decades later, the science of crowd management has evolved significantly, providing evidence-based approaches to prevent such disasters, and I would modify that instead of to prevent, to try to minimize. Here's a look at the science behind crowd dynamics and how understanding them has led to a revolution in stadium safety and security. So let's start looking at crowd dynamics, and it encompasses the study of how groups move, interact, and respond to environmental changes within confined space. The field combines both elements of physics, psychology, also let's throw in there sociology to identify predictable patterns in crowd behavior. If you could predict how the crowd is going to behave, you might be able to address it early on and maybe prevent issues from exasperating. According to the National Center for Spectator Sports Safety and Security, say that 5 times fast, it's often called NCS4 for short, crowds behave as complex adaptive systems with emergent properties that cannot be predicted by examining individual behaviors alone. When density reaches critical thresholds, crowds begin to move like water, transferring forces between individuals and creating potential dangerous pressure waves. Understanding these dynamics allows venue managers to design spaces and produce procedures, So it's dynamic. Understanding these dynamics allow venue managers to design spaces and procedures that prevent dangerous conditions from developing. These incidents led to the use of tools to anticipate issues, such as simulations to predict potential issues, and staff training to recognize and take corrective action to prevent problems. Technology to help venues include real-time video monitoring, allowing operation to read the crowd. Also, pre-planning using digital twin simulations allow you to anticipate potential problem areas and to throw in all sorts of different variables. Other strategies include foot traffic sensors at key entry points, mobile app heat mapping to visualize crowd distributions, and elevated camera systems for overhead situational awareness. Integrated dashboard systems displaying multiple data streams to security personnel have also proven valuable alongside predictive analytics that forecast potential pressure points based on historical data. Also, pressure-sensitive pads along the front of the stage at concerts can offer warning alerts to safety professionals. According to NCS4 recommendations, effective crowd management begins with thorough risk assessment. This includes detailed analysis of venue layouts to identify potential bottlenecks, understanding expected attendance figures, consideration of audience demographics to include institutional arrivals, and evaluation of previous incidents at similar events, those kind of things. Weather, type of rivalry, is it for a championship? All that needs to be analyzed. NCS4 also recommends that well-designed facilities incorporate multiple entry and exit points strategically positioned to distribute traffic more evenly. Clear sight lines for both spectators and security personnel, a sufficient corridor width to accommodate expected volumes, and elimination of what we call bottlenecks or pinch points that could trap patrons. Proper staff training is the foundation of effective crowd management, according to the article. That's why you're taking this. That's why you're trying to learn about this as much as possible. First, you have to plan for the space you have, considering the capacity and density for individuals. NCS4 also recommends specialized training in crowd psychology and behavioral dynamics. data-driven staff positioning with higher concentrations at known pressure points, and comprehensive knowledge of venue layout and emergency routes. Staff should be able to recognize early warning signs of dangerous crowd conditions before they escalate to critical levels. That's why if you see something, you have to say something. You are the front line. You are the most critical asset we have for providing a safe environment for our individuals. Lastly, communication can never be underestimated as it serves as the backbone of crowd management systems, including pre-event messaging about procedures, clear wayfinding signage, and reliable public address systems. NCS4 identified crowd management as more than just a security function. Effective planning requires collaboration between security departments, facility operations, and guest service personnel, medical teams, law enforcement officials, and event production staff. This cross-functional approach ensures all the aspects of crowd management are addressed comprehensively. All right, that's a lot from that article, and there's still more. And it was a dense article, as I mentioned. Density management is what they cover next, and it's a critical risk management effort, and that includes establishing maximum capacity limits for specific sections, using barriers and flow systems to prevent overcrowding, and monitoring real-time density levels with prepared intervention protocols. Now, during an event, a progressive approach to crowd management allows for nimble response to changing conditions. This includes such strategies as temporarily closing specific entrances to redirect flow, adjusting barrier configurations based on real-time conditions, and implementing holding areas to meter entry during peak arrival time. So people can go in for a certain amount, wait, and then go further on left after that. And this, I think, is the last story for April. We already had one for the Pittsburgh Pirates, so here's another one. The Pirates suspend an employee after video shows him punching whipping fan with belt in post-game altercation. A fan and employee got into a bizarre incident after the Pirates game in early May. It started when the fan and his friend allegedly started harassing a female concession stand employee. The game day employee, who has not been identified, reportedly intervened and diverted the two men away from his co-worker, at which point the situation got heated and a face-to-face argument ensued. Video taken by a bystander shows the employee trying to walk away but being followed and then taunted by the fan. In the video, the employee eventually responds by throwing punches, just trying to hit the fan. Of course, we never want to hit fans or anybody else. That's a no-no. The employee appears to land 5 punches to the head of the fan, who stays on his feet. Later, the fan is seen spitting on the employee, who then takes off his belt and starts whipping the fan. The Pirates released a statement to CBS saying that the employee has been suspended and the matter is under investigation. We are aware of this unfortunate incident that occurred following the conclusion of the game between a PNC Park game day employee and a guest. The employee's behavior was entirely unacceptable, and he was immediately suspended. This incident is currently under further investigation. That's what the team said. The Pittsburgh Bureau of Police, which sent officers to the stadium to respond to the scene, is also reportedly investigating as well. Never do that. As someone who's on the front line, you have a responsibility to have a level head at all times. No matter what the pressure is or anything else, don't hesitate to talk to a supervisor and ask for intervention if you need it. Thank you for watching the April stories, and I hope everyone has a safe time out there. Be well, everyone. Bye.